This video presents a comprehensive overview of the eMuniManagement dashboard feature. The dashboard is accessed by left-clicking on the Dashboard menu button. The dashboard presents summary data in graphical form. By default, each graph starts with the current month and the current year. Let's look briefly at each graph. The top graph shows the issued permits by date. In our example, this is February of 2017. Scrolling down to the next graph, we see that this graph presents a year-by-year comparison of issued permits. The default years are the current year and the prior year. The next graph presents inspections for the current month. And our final graph presents application fees for the current month. We'll look at each graph in more detail. The top graph shows us each permit type issued in the month of February. We can show different months or years by selecting them from the drop-down list and then clicking the search button, which we'll do in a moment. The number of issued permits appears inside the graph bars. If we move across the top of each graph, we see both the number and the permit type. Let's look at last month by clicking in the month field, selecting January, and clicking the search icon. We can see that some graphs do not have a number in them because the graph is too short. We can see the number by hovering over that graph bar. We can also view the number of permits issued by status by clicking in the month-year field and selecting status from the drop-down. We now have new search criteria available: the status and date range. Let's select permits that have been completed. We can apply a date range for our completed permits by using the calendar settings in the From and To fields. We want to see all completed permits, so we'll leave these fields blank. Click the search icon. We now see all the completed permits in our system. If we click on a graph, we get a report for all completed permits of that particular type. We can export this report to CSV or PDF format. In the upper right corner of our graph, we have a Show All Permits button. If we click this button, we get all completed permits of every type. Our next graph is the permit year-to-year comparison graph. A key code appears in the upper right corner of this graph. Permits from 2017 appear in blue, and permits from 2016 appear in black. These date fields are toggle buttons, which turn these dates on and off in our year-to-year comparison graph. The date is also shown with the permit number and permit type when you hover over any bar in this graph. Comparisons are available for the past 9 years. The next graph shows the number of inspections by inspection type performed. We can change our date range by using the calendar fields. And clicking the search icon. Our final graph shows the application fees using a pie chart graph. This chart represents all fees in the system, including permit applications, inspections, and land development planning fees. The fees are represented by their percentage when compared to all other fees in the given date range. Clicking on a slice extracts it from the rest of the pie chart which may be useful if you plan to cut and paste this chart into a monthly management report. Thank you for watching this video overview of the dashboard feature